A very good morning, it's Fabio, and your USD is selling off in towards the downside after already making a massive dump in towards the lows yesterday. So my position is running back in good profit again. Yesterday I was up around 5% at its peak, but why was it that your USD was selling off in towards the downside so aggressively? Now, first of all, there are two reasons. Reason number one stems mainly from Japan. So the Japanese political and economic uncertainty is causing the dollar to appreciate, so get stronger in value, as the dollar is seen as a safe haven when a traditional safe haven such as the Japanese yen weakens. And second of all, we are seeing Eurozone madness, guys. And what do I mean by this? We are currently seeing the French government literally fall apart. So we're seeing a lot of physical instability within let's say, France itself. It is not sustainable, the current, let's say, borrowing programs, the current social programs that they have going on, and in addition to that, the political, let's say, mess that has been created there is unsustainable, causing the euro to depreciate in value, and therefore I am still favoring that further downside here from Euro USD, definitely for the short to medium term. So what we can currently see is that Euro USD retraced yesterday back up in towards this supply zone, but that the overall order flow is holding exactly as I explained in yesterday's video, and I'm still looking for Euro USD to continue its overall leg and route in towards the downside. Looking here at the 1 hour time frame and the 15-minute, there was actually a very nice piece of price action here where, once again, guys, what happened is that we came back up to this liquidity high last night / yesterday afternoon to take out the liquidity there, and now the market has continued to push back in towards the downside. So for Euro USD, I am looking for this to head it down lower and continue towards my blue dotted line in towards the day and the rest of this week, and eventually even lower towards these two X's / blue dotted lines over here and over here. So yeah, still bearish on Euro USD, still looking for the overall order flow to hold and to continue pushing the market down lower. And this then aligns with my dollar index bias, which I want to see push up higher. Now, I've talked about the dollar index many times already. You guys know what I'm looking for as well here, where we've had an overextended move in towards the downside, and then we have the corrective descending price action with the one low, the second low, and then a fake out on that second low. And then, guys, if you want to see, let's say, continuation in towards the downside, you need to see, let's say, this supply zone over here hold and push the market down lower. But what has happened is that we broke that supply zone. Then if we look at the left, there's nothing really of significance that can push the market down lower, except for example, the very first liquidity high of this descending trend line here. So that's why ultimately I'm still waiting for the dollar index to push up higher in towards 99.074, and still looking for that further upside here from the dollar index, which would result again in further Euro USD downside, which also aligns with the technical analysis that we have applied over there, where your USD from a daily perspective is again daily fractal bearish. So first of all, we're fractal bearish, we retrace into daily supply. I'm just looking for this to continue down lower into the more significant overall liquidity lows. Now, going into GBPUSD, we can see that GU in itself has finally again started to sell off. If I'm very honest, it's very consolidative price action. GU is very stuck, and I'm waiting for the overall bigger breakout, but I'm still favoring that breakout to take place in towards the downside. Now, for now, overall, the analysis still makes sense that we highlighted in yesterday's video, where you have, let's say, these equal highs get taken out, that gets taken out by this, boom, V-shaped reversal in towards the downside. This is in a strong area of supply. Well, as you can see, we've now tapped into it twice with a significant reaction in towards the downside, and I'm now looking for GBPUSD to continue its overall leg further short. So that's what I'm currently looking for here on GBPUSD, and expecting this overall 4-hour supply zone to hold and to continue pushing the market down lower. The overall 4-hour fractal is bearish, as we can see here, fractal low break. So this is currently the fractal high, and as long as the fractal high is respected, I expect this supply zone to continue to push the market down lower. And as you guys know from the higher time frame, we're currently in the overall impulsive phase here. So if this is the first time that you're watching my video, what I mentioned here is that we had the ascending correction in towards the highs. So we had this little uptrend, then we had a clear strong impulse in towards downside, break of structure, meaning this here's the swing high, this here's the swing low. Then we had two bumps in the road, also known as liquidity points, the two X's over here. X number one got taken out, caused a short-term push down, but nothing really sustainable. And now we've seen the final X / final liquidity point get taken out, V-shaped reversal down, and I'm now looking for the daily fractal to hold and continue pushing the market down lower. So still looking for that further downside here from GBPUSD, and if you want to capitalize on that, then obviously what you should already have been, or what setup you've already should have been in, is this setup over here from the overall highs back down in towards the overall lows. Yeah, I am also myself in GBPUSD shorts. So looking for this to continue its overall route in towards the downside. So let's see if we can sustain that. And again, if we look at the overall impulse here, clear liquidity high gets taken out, supply is on tap, and it should continue its overall route in towards the downside, in line with my analysis that I have here for the dollar index. Now, on the dollar index, there's, by the way, one thing that we have to take into account, and that is the fact that we're reacting to this demand zone over here, but that demand zone doesn't really have any clear liquidity in the overall leg up. So who knows, we might come back down to liquidate that. But for now, with the blitz call and let's say fundamentals, the dollar index is so bullish that I would not be surprised if we just continue up higher, but it is something that I am taking into account. But overall, the real pullback for me will only start once 99.074 gets hit. Now, moving on into AUDUSD, we can see that AU has rejected again. As you guys know, I am looking for a potential hedge position here on AU to look for longs. Now, AUDUSD, as opposed to the others, is a lot more bullish. What we've seen here is a strong impulse up. We've seen a nice retracement back down towards the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level. I'm just drawing that fib for you guys. So we've retraced into discount pricing. We retraced into this sub for the buy here, which was demand. Now, what I was looking for here on AUDUSD before looking for any longs at all was a double fractal break. So what we had here was this little internal downtrend. Then we had here the first break up. But now I'm waiting for another strong break up, because this could otherwise just become like a liquidity grab to fuel the next leg down. So I really want to see another strong break up before, and then to form this demand zone before looking for any further longs. So I'm not really interested in shorts here on AUDUSD, only really more on GBPUSD and EURUSD. And if we suddenly see something else happen, then we could look for a trade. Now, NZDUSD is still reacting and slowing at the overall liquidity high here marked out with the X. Now, let me just clean up the chart for you guys, because what we're ultimately looking for here on NZDUSD is still for a short position. The overall trend is bearish, right? So lower highs and lower lows are being formed, and we're now looking to establish a new lower high to again see another push in towards the downside. That is ultimately, just very simply said, the trend. Now, when do we expect the overall new, let's say, downtrend to form? So the next impulsive phase to form? Well, that is once we grab liquidity, because as we can see in the past, when we, for example, take out this liquidity high, which is part of the overall leg down. So again, when we have the overall leg down, we have a liquidity high here, liquidity high over here. That's when you can potentially see the next leg down start to occur. However, for that next leg down to occur, you need to see an order flow shift. So we have this clear little uptrend here in towards the highs. At the moment, this is still demand that is in control, and I would only be looking for short position on NZDUSD. If we clearly break below this, then we can look for shorts. Nice little liquidity high over here that took out this, so strong supply zone overall, and then I'll be looking for short from that supply zone once we see strong breakout in towards the downside. That is a nice potential trade to take as well. And then in alignment with EURUSD and GBPUSD. But yeah, you guys already know, and I shared my entry in yesterday's video. I am in EURUSD from this high over here, and with around 5.25 lots with my stop over here. So I am doing pretty well and targeting obviously this low as first kind of like target. So moving on into then USDCHF, USD yen, USDCAD and gold. So USDCHF is consolidating. Overall, still looking for this to head up higher. Very, very simple. Nothing really too complicated. What you need to understand here is that USDCHF is inside of a daily demand zone here. This demand zone is preventing price from dropping. We still have a supply zone open here. We're building up decently high liquidity, so I would prefer for this to head up higher before then looking for a sell-off, for example, or then if it doesn't not react to this supply zone, then it could just head up higher. But I'm not looking for a short here. Only if we break this low here, then you could look for a short position. But from here, short-term longs back up into this supply zone. Looking at USDJPY, that pair has continued pushing up higher based on the fundamentals. Japan really seems to be screwed or effed, if I can be so blunt. Now, overall, yeah, we're at the top of the range, and I'm definitely not looking to short this. Short-term momentum still isn't towards the upside, so yeah, I wouldn't be looking at a short position on this at all. The next high is pretty much this liquidity high to be taken over here of 151.305. But yeah, that's looking good to head up higher in the short term, but obviously not a pair that I'm really keen on trading. Again, just for you guys to understand how you can trade these kind of like impulsive phases within the market, is that when you see a breakout in towards the upside here, you see actually liquidity being grabbed and it feels a leg down. But the market is super bullish. So what you want to look for is a fake move up and then a fake move down. So swipe the low here, and then the long in towards the upside happens again. And you see this happen very often on gold as well. So something good to take into account. The way you can kind of view it, it's like range high swipe, range low swipe, and then the real direction kind of like continues. So take that into account when trading for yourself. That is something that you can keep an eye on. Looking at USDCAD, you guys know I'm looking for 1.40 to get hit. So I'm still looking for this to head up higher. Not going for shorts yet. Who knows, in the near future, we might get a correction down once we hit that 140 level, but looking for another push up before either a correction down or just for the market to continue following its order flow up higher. But yeah, looking for this to still head up higher. So some short-term buys are still valid here on USDCAD. It's inside 4-hour or daily order flow, 4-hour market structure is bullish as well. So yeah, looking for longs on this in towards the upside. So yeah, that's USDCAD for you. And then of course, last of all, gold. So gold in itself is starting to sell off this morning, which is a good thing because it means that we're starting to move back down towards liquidity lows to look for new potential long positions. Here we have the liquidity lows for today. So let's see if we get any kind of like lower time frame confirmation on one of these liquidity lows. And what I mean with lower time frame confirmation is a change of character once the liquidation takes place. So for example, over here we liquidated a low, which was pretty much a important liquidity low. Let's say this is the overall leg up. Then we have a bump in the road, and then once those bumps in the road get taken out, you will often see a reaction pushing up higher. Now again, what we're looking for here is, okay, we have a bump in the road, right? So push up, push down, push up, push down, push up. Now what we're looking for here is liquidation of that, and now you want to see the change of character happen to look for longs. Now it can either happen from this low, it can happen from this low. So just be patient and wait for that change of character to happen, and then we'll look for a new long position here on gold. So that's it for today. Thanks a lot for joining in. We're going to do a live stream on YouTube as always, 2:30 Central Eastern Time here on YouTube. I'll drop a link to that in the comment section. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys there, and have an amazing trading day. And yeah, let's see if your USD can finally commit to some further downside. Thanks, guys.